You are welcome. Yeah, I can't help you with that, unfortunately. I wish I could, but I can't. All right. So let's see. I'm going to start some music and play some music while we wait for people to show up. Let's see what kind of what can I play? The show goes on. Do I know any Persian language? I can say, I think you guys just say salam for hello, right? As opposed to assalamu alaikum, which you also can say, right? And I know Gorma Sabsi. And I know Fesenjun. Fesenjun, something like that. Oh, Basmati is from Iran? I didn't know that. I thought Basmati was Indian. All right, let's play a song. Well, this might be good. I think the topic I want to talk about today might be sadness, so let's see. Let's start with a little Pink Floyd. You guys are arguing about Rumi. Well, Rumi is actually, technically, Rumi is not Iranian or Turkish. Rumi was born in Afghanistan. He was born in Balkh, Afghanistan, in the 13th century. And he's most famous in Persia. He's most famous in Persia. And yes, I know him. I like to read his poems. I quote him often on my streams. So hello, everyone. Hello, Mohammed and Brenda and Aisel and Wagner and Sadak and Amir and Blue and Sevkit. He lived in Konya, Turkey. Well, he lived in many places. But really, the truth of the matter is, it's a silly argument. Who cares where he was born? That's not what's important. What's important is his message. Do you think he would like it if you argued about where he's from and not just listen to his message? I don't think he cares where he's from. You know? He was a brilliant man. He had a lot of great ideas. I like a lot of his ideas. So, welcome to my live stream. It is called The Deep Note. And, I always teach English. Teach. Always teaching. And that's great. But it's also nice to just talk sometimes, right? To have a conversation about a topic. Right? So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to have some music and enjoy some music too. Because I love music. So today we're going to talk about something a little dark. We're going to talk about something a little bit sad. We're going to talk about sadness. We'll talk about anything that's bothering you. Are you having a problem right now? Do you feel depressed? Are you sad? Why are you sad? What's wrong? Why do people get sad? What can we do about it? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. The more you talk about it, the more control you have over it. Or the more you talk about it, the more you can figure out what you can control and what you can't control. You can't control everything, but there are certain things that you can. You're just listening because your English is bad? Okay, well, I hope it helps. Hopefully this will help you. So, Blue, you said you're sad. Why are you sad? This song, by the way, is called Sorrow, which means sadness. It's by Pink Floyd. It's too hard to control your thoughts. You don't need to control your thoughts, but you do need to ground yourself. So if your self is grounded, then your thoughts won't affect you so much. So the secret is figuring out ways to ground yourself. Ground yourself so that your thoughts are not controlling where you are going. Okay? It's like a horse. You can't control a horse, but you can guide it. Right? You can get on it and ride it and show it where you want it to go. You can do that with your sadness. You can do that with your bad feelings. Ground yourself means what? It means you have to understand that life is hard. Life is hard. Life is suffering. Life is tough. And there are some things that are important and some things that are not so important in life. And you need to try to keep a hold of the ones that are important. You have to hold on to the ones that are important. That keeps you grounded. The more you care about the ones that are not important, the more you're flying around with your emotions. But if you can keep a hold of the ones that you know are important, then you can keep yourself grounded. Hello, Alexander, and thank you, Mohammed. So, who else would like to talk to me about, why do you think people get sad? Do you get sad? Are you sad right now? Are you upset about something? Are you bothered? Are you frustrated? Are you disappointed? What bad feeling are you having right now? Any? Anyone? Hello? Is this thing on? Come on, guys, talk to me. Come on, we're here to talk. Let's talk. You can raise your hand and come on stage and talk to me even. Do you want to tell me about your problems? Do you want to just talk about why we have problems? Okay, so Ali, what's your problem? What's wrong? Anyone? No one? Hello, Amir. You're back. You can understand, but you can't speak. Well, you can type, can't you? Type your answers. Type your answers. It's okay. Let you raise your hand? You can raise your hand. Go ahead. Raise your hand. Do you know how? There's a little button you can push. I can bring you up if you don't know how. Let me see. Where are you? Invite to stage. Hello, Amir. How are you?
Let's give it this.
Amir, are you busy?
No, I'm coming back.
Okay. There you are. Hello, my friend.
I miss you actually.
Oh, that's nice of you to say. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I remember the last time I saw you was 2 days ago, and yeah, you haven't been taking any lives or.
I have, but I did some voice rooms. You should try joining my voice rooms too. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel I did. I guess you were as busy as a bee.
Yeah, the voice rooms are a little bit crazy because you get 200 or 300 people in there, and everybody wants to talk to me, and I can only talk to, maybe if I'm lucky, I can get through 15. But that takes like 3 hours to answer 15 people's questions. And no matter how much I do, I can answer 100 people's questions, and there will still be 100 more who are saying, "Please, me next." So it's always a little bit of. It's nice to feel in demand, but it's also a little bit much sometimes, like, hey, guys, I need a break too,
Yeah,
so.
True. And, I mean, you have also a busy schedule. You have everything like.
Right. Yeah. People don't know what else I do, and I do a lot of other things too, because I have to make money, and so I don't make any money off of this. So there are a lot of other things I do in my life. Yeah, but everybody's busy. Everybody's busy. Yeah.
Something crossed my mind regarding your YouTube, and I've seen like so many YouTubers. And to be honest, I'm also about to be starting my YouTube like professional because I also want to be a YouTuber.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And,
good for you.
Yeah, it's also hard. And
I suck at YouTube. So really, like, let's put it this way. I know that I need to do a lot more with my YouTube, but I just don't have the talent or time to do it. So I'm really good at doing this, but you can't be good at everything, right? And so I'm doing my best to be a social media guy, but it's not easy. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work to post all the time and to keep up on everything. And so I'm actually trying to see if I can find someone who I can hire sometime in the next few months to try to be, like either my social media manager or just my YouTube person to help me to make my YouTube channel better. Because I know it needs a lot of work. It's really rough. It's really raw. But at the same time, I also think that sometimes the really professional YouTube channels are almost a little bit too professional. Like,
do you think so?
Yeah, only because I still feel like at the end of the day, you have to have a good raw product, right? You have to have a good raw product, and it's great to try to do all the camera angles and the lights and all that stuff, but you still have to have a good raw product. And sometimes I feel, well, you know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. I know what it is. YouTube is, it's taken away any sense of liveness, right? Because you're watching videos, right? And so, it doesn't have that energetic quality of like a live TV show where you don't know what's going to happen and you're there and you're part of it as it's happening, you know? Yeah, so I guess I feel like everything is engineered and produced and really, really, really clean, but it doesn't have that sense of energy, like a,
Presence,
you know?
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah. Anyway, I know I need to do a lot of work with my YouTube channel. I just try to post as much as I can and then hope people watch it.
It's not a walk in the park, but at the end of the day, what matters on YouTube channel or any kind of social media platform I have ever come across, like be it YouTube or HelloTalk or even other ones that you have been like also like present on, or even I don't know if you have Instagram or not. But what I have been just seeing like Mr. Beast or different people is like the consistency they have.
Right. Yeah.
Every day.
Consistency is the most important part. Yeah. And that's also actually like I try to be consistent, but I can't also because I don't get paid for any of this time, right? So here's what happens is if someone wants to take a private lesson with me right now, I have to cancel my live stream so I can teach a private lesson because I need to make that money, right? So that's why it's hard for me to make a permanent schedule with my live stream because I have to take lessons whenever I get them, you know, and then somebody says, well, when are you going to be on? And I say, well, every day at 9 o'clock, but then tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I have a private lesson I have to cancel. And then, so my consistency is that I try to be here, you know, more than enough times a week to make it worthwhile to follow me. So 3 to 6 times a week is usually what I tell people about my live streams and my voice streams. So that's somewhere between 6 and 12 times a week I'm there. That's a pretty good amount, I think.
To be honest, I don't think I've seen anyone like being as active as you on any kind of platform, running lives every day on YouTube channel or any kind of channel, even on HelloTalk. I haven't seen anyone, and that's really great, actually. That's really
Well,
cool.
again, you have to be consistent, and I am working on a long-term project of success. You know, so I hope one day this will turn into something that, you know, can sustain itself. But that you got to put in the time, you know, and you got to struggle for a while.
You also told us you've been doing it for like ages, like for example for 12 years, right?
Well, I've been on HelloTalk for 12 years, but the live streams have only been here for maybe, I want to say 2.5 or 3 years. And I was actually the first live streamer that they asked to stream. So I've been here from the beginning of that. Yeah.
Interesting. Yes. Yes.
No, go ahead. You wanted to say another thing?
Yeah, I wanted to say something because I've recently like watched a Stanford lecture, and it was all about like how we can like speak towards the camera. So, for example, when we are trying to just capture ourselves, and I was wondering what are your like what are your tips for that? I've been like trying to do it, but I don't think I really mastered it, and I feel like there's something I want to be comfortable, but I can't, and I've tried it a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's the funny thing. That's why I suck at YouTube, because I am really comfortable in front of the camera live. I am terrible when there's no audience. When it's just me and a camera, I hate that so much because there's no connection. And it feels really, really, really pretentious. You know, like you're talking to a camera, like you're important, you know, when there's nobody there. You know, if somebody wants to hear from me, then I feel okay talking. But if I'm just assuming people want to hear from me, then it feels very pretentious, you know? And I know that that's what everybody does, and you have to be able to do that, but it is hard. There is a certain ego aspect of it that you have to have. Yeah, and it's hard for me. I've been struggling with that myself, and I have a few different things I do. Sometimes I'll just try to have a friend of mine be in the room or online, you know, so I'll be recording on my phone, but they'll be on the computer on a, you know, voicemail or voice call or audio, video call with me. So there's somebody there, right? That it feels like I can try to feel like there is an audience that I'm addressing, you know, instead of just blankly talking to an imaginary audience. That's, I mean, honestly, it's almost psychopathic. You know, it's almost psychopathic that you're like, I'm so important, you should listen to what I have to say. And there's so many millions of people doing it now. It's kind of concerning psychologically. It's a little bit concerning because you shouldn't feel. I mean, it's one thing to want to share your ideas, but it's another thing to assume everybody wants to hear them.
True.
You
It
know?
also makes you isolate from other people.
In what way?
Like, for example, you're alone and you tend to do it again and again and again, and you're just used to doing it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Which again, why I think the best ones are when they have some sort of a production team, just like any real broadcast would, where you have a cameraman and you have an audio person, and you have a light person. Now you have an audience. You know, there's a producer who's there to help you with it. You know, that's how the real ones are done. The real broadcasts are done that way. It's not just one person. You know, they have a whole team, you know. So you feel like you're a team. That I could do. If I had a team of people working with me, then I think I'd feel okay doing it. But when it's just you, it just feels like an exercise in pretentiousness.
Have you been doing all of this on your own without anyone's help? Like every kind of like
Pretty much. Yeah.
any video, like any edits you just posted on YouTube channel or any kind of
Yeah.
other platform.
Almost everything I've done by myself.
Great.
I have one guy who's a follower named Miguel who is really good with computers, and he's helped me get some things, you know, straightened out with which programs to use and how to set it up better, and that was very helpful. And I have a few people who I kind of consult with a little bit and talk to, just who are volunteers or friends, but almost, I would say, you know, pretty much 95% or more, just me.
You're-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Again, I can't afford to pay anybody yet.
and it would also cost you an arm and a leg if you do it. Like,
Yeah, it isn't cheap. Yeah, I mean, I did actually look into trying to hire a company locally, and I absolutely can't afford it locally. You know, like locally, it was going to be like $5,000 to $10,000 a month.
in
And
US.
yeah, I couldn't afford that at all. I can't afford $500 a month. So yeah, I'm looking for somebody from another country who's willing to do some work for me, you know, digitally.
Have you
you know.
searched Europe? Have you searched Europe, like countries? Europe?
I've searched on what is it called, Upwork and Fiverr, and those are like freelance websites, right? And you can kind of find people who fit your budget or which countries or whatever. So, you know, I've been looking for people in like Eastern Europe and some of the, you know, like India occasionally and things like that. You know, so we'll see if anybody is interested in a job. If you think you can help me, then please do. I could use all the help I can get. So, anyway,
Yeah.
Mohammed,
Yeah.
I see you saying you want to be my assistant. You know, send me a message. And again, anybody who can help me.
I want to be also in your team, definitely.
Okay, well, that would be
That'd
great. You know, that is one of the new things I need to do this year is I need to harness some of the power of people who actually support me. You know, I need to try to find ways to get some of my followers to help me promote a bit more, you know? Because, yeah, I'm just one man and I'm out of hands. I can't do anything more than I already do. So I do need some more people who can help. Yeah.
You definitely are powerful. You're underestimating yourself.
Well, I mean, it's nice to be able to have a connection to many, many different people in the world, but I don't consider it power. I consider it responsibility.
You consider like having connections as responsibility, or
I feel like there are people who have they have an expectation of help, like their students, so teachers have a responsibility to their students, so
never have I ever seen it from that point of view, and that's amazing. Like for example, like you give a helping hand to people, and you consider as responsibility, but usually it's just helping people. Like
well, any good teacher should feel a responsibility towards their students, I think. I can't imagine how you would be a good teacher if you didn't, so that's why doing this is actually different, I think, for me than a lot of other people, because when I do this, I really do feel like I'm just in a classroom, right? As soon as I turn on the camera, I'm in a classroom. So I'm in classroom mode. But I think a lot of people, they just turn on the camera and it's just their life. And therefore, it's a little bit unpolished, and that could be good. But, I'm trying to give you a polished presentation, as much as possible.
yes, I also feel like that. Like for example, when you're giving a presentation, it seems like it's really a real class right now. Like
Well, almost every question that anybody has asked me before, I've answered thousands of times. So I love it when I get a new question. I love it when somebody asks me something that I've not heard before, because I'm like, oh, great, that's cool. Let me think about a new answer. But usually it's something that someone has asked me before, and I've had time to think about it, and I've had time to craft my answer over time, so yeah, that's the way it's supposed to feel. It should feel that way.
it's
Yeah.
really good to step out of our comfort zone. Like for example, people get used to doing whatever they've been doing, like answering similar questions, or getting stuck to the same job, getting into the job like a 9 to 5 job. However, when it comes to like changing that job or changing a country, I myself, I can say it like from the bottom of my heart, I really want to go to the US, but deep down, on the surface like that, but deep down, I've made a lot of friends here. I've
Mm-hmm.
made a Canadian US friend here
Mm-hmm.
who I have never come across before, and he always amazes me by the amount of knowledge he has. Can you imagine, whenever we are in a class, he starts reading a lot of Wikipedia pages or reading books, and in a blink of an eye, he tells me a detail of all of them that I cannot do it at all, even in my own native language. And he learned Dutch within 6 months, and I still
Wow.
cannot and I still cannot and I still cannot say some kind of words in Dutch. And also there is a goedemiddag, which says welcome in Dutch language, but I'm not sure if I said that correctly. The other day I said it to some Dutch people. After I left that room, they laughed at me so hard, and I felt bad about myself.
Well, I always think it's weird. I don't know why people still laugh at people when they're trying to speak a new language. It's really weird to me, because I feel like the whole world is international now.
Yeah.
The weird people are the ones who don't speak another language. That's my opinion at this point. If you haven't tried to learn another language at all at this point, with as international as the world is, I almost feel that's a sad, sad state on your life. Honestly, you can't possibly understand the cultural benefit and the benefit that you get in terms of opening your mind by just learning another language, even just a little bit. You know, you don't have to be fluent. If you just spend some time, you know, a year trying to get some knowledge about a language, that's a huge door opening up in your mind, you know? So, yeah, the older I get, the more I feel like we need to be more respectful of our mind and what we put in it, you know, and how we engage it. Like, how much time do we spend disengaging our brain? That's the point, right? That's what I was going to say is we need to figure out how to engage our mind, but we also need to figure out how much time do you spend disengaging your mind completely, and how much do you think that's good? You know, maybe you're doing a little too much watching sports and playing video games and watching movies and TV shows 100 times, you know, that's disengaged brain. And, you know, I feel like, yeah, like I said, that's time you could be learning a new language. That's time that you could play a musical instrument. It's time that you could learn history about another culture or country, or learn how to cook something, you know. Those are skills that I think have a lot more value than disengaging your mind through some things like just watching stuff. You know, there's a certain spectator aspect to life now that's a little bit poisonous.
True, and because nowadays I don't see many people are as enthusiastic as they should be about learning kind of new knowledge about a different kind of subject, be it like kind of history, as you said, or any type of other subject. And yes,
Hello.
Yes,
Hello,
I agree with that.
Teacher Mark.
Yeah. Hello, Mohammed. Good to see you again.
Hello, Teacher Mark. Thank you. I'm happy to see you doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we got a little bit off topic today. I wanted to talk about something kind of dark, but that's okay.
sorry.
No,
Sorry
it's
for
okay.
that.
That's all right. It's no problem. We were still having a deep conversation. It just wasn't the topic that I had originally tried to talk about. But honestly, that's okay because, you know, a good conversation should just happen organically, spontaneously, you know. So I try to come online with a topic in mind, but if somebody else has something else they want to talk about, as long as it's a good conversation, I'm
What's
okay.
that topic for that of the
Today, the topic was I wanted to have something, you know, a little deep, like, you know, I basically was just talking about sadness and, you know, why do we have sadness? Are you feeling sad right now? Why? What's wrong? What can you do about sadness? How can you, you know, try to either avoid it or use it or understand it better, you know, things like that. Just, you know, you'd be surprised how often I get messages from people who just clearly are just sad. You know, they're just upset. They're not having a good time, and they want to reach out to somebody. You know, and it happens a lot here for me. So sometimes I feel almost like, you know, I want to give some people just an opportunity to talk if they want to talk about something. You know.
Did you prepare it for? Did you prepare well for this?
A little bit, yeah. You know, I have a lot of questions in mind. Yeah, a lot of topics in mind. Sure.
Actually,
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Actually, sorry, I had something now that made me sad.
Okay.
Yes, just now finished the football game, Barcelona against Getafe, and Barcelona didn't win this game.
Oh my
That's
God.
why I feel sad.
I'm also feeling sad right now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so, but, you know, okay. So I have a very strange relationship with sports at this point in my life. I really just don't see the fascination for it anymore. I don't really understand why people are so engaged with sports at this point. And the reason why is because at this point in life, you should, unless you've had your head buried in the sand, you should be aware of all of the crazy things that are going on in the world right now. And it just seems weird to me that with everything going on in the world, you're able to just spend time watching a sports game that doesn't... Here's the key word. What is it called? It's called a football game. The word is game. It's a game. And if you take it too seriously, it's not a game anymore. And so
It's industry.
yeah, it becomes industry, and it also becomes, people bet money on them, and then they lose their family, and then they spend more time doing that than they do with their kids, and stuff like that. They're wasting money on expensive jerseys and stuff like that. Come on, like I've seen the videos of the soccer hooligans, tearing up the cities and stuff. Why? Because someone lost a soccer game? What? Why? Come on. And I feel this way about every sport, to be honest with you, really, whether it's baseball or soccer or football or tennis.
Basketball in the
basketball,
United
right.
States.
It's big business, and, Julius Caesar, the Romans, not just Julius Caesar, but the Romans had a system. One of the reasons why the Roman Empire was so great and why they lasted for so long and got so big was because they figured out something very important early on. When you conquer a new people and you expand your empire, people are upset and they're, not happy. But if you can give them two things that they didn't have before, bread and entertainment. Wow. If you can give them food and entertainment, they'll shut up and they'll not bother you about politics. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I know so. That's what they called it. They called it bread and circuses. That was what the Romans called it. Bread
and what?
Circuses, a circus.
Like entertainment?
Yeah, like dun 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 dun, with clowns and stuff like that. That's a circus, right? Yeah, and they used to have the gladiators, right? The fighting, right? Where they would have the people fight each other, right? Yeah, that was their entertainment. And if you could give people food and you could give people entertainment, then they would be happy and they would just shut up and not bother you about politics. And they did that for a long time. And I feel like we still do that. I feel like we're still doing that right now. There are a lot of important things that everybody should be paying attention to.
Like politics.
But not just politics, culture and knowledge and learning and, the understanding the new world we live in. Global warming and climate change and international economies and things like that. And so again, it's really hard for me to understand how someone wants to spend all their time doing that, watching. And here's the other problem. The other problem I have with it is, wouldn't it be better, instead of you watching someone do something cool, how about you go do something cool? You're watching other people do great stuff. Okay, great. Why don't you go out and do something,
Because I have a response for that.
Okay.
First, they're more talented than us. They can do it
I
in
disagree.
a better way.
I disagree. They might be more talented than you
I can't
in
compare
football.
myself with Messi.
Okay, no. You're right. With Messi in soccer, in football, yes, you cannot compare yourself with him. But I believe every person on this planet does have a talent, at least one. But here's the problem. If you never dig in the ground, you'll never find a diamond. And most people will never dig. So most people, they never find their talent. They never find it because they never look. And why don't they look? They don't look because they're too busy with work and busy with things like video games and sports and stuff like that. So you're spending your time watching the talent of somebody else instead of trying to find your own. And you have one. I promise you do. I promise you do, Mohammed. Everybody has a talent.
I'm not sure.
Everybody has a talent.
Could you please repeat that sentence? Dig, what was it? I
don't know.
Dig for diamonds.
Some people, if you never dig for diamonds, you'll never find one. And some people never dig.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to is you have talents. You have lots of talents. Now, here's another thing. You said, Amir, you like Bob Ross, right? Well, guess what? Bob Ross has another one of my favorite quotes. He says, talent is a pursued interest.
Yeah, I remember.
Which
that.
means that you see Messi and you say, oh, he's so talented. I could never be like that. But when
Yeah.
I see Messi, I see somebody who worked his ass off for a long time. So I don't see somebody who you know, is just a miracle that he's that good. No, he worked hard. And it's also not fair. It's not respectful for you to treat him that way. If you say he's just talented like God did it, then you're also just ignoring all the work he put in. What about all the work he did? He did that. He did it, right? So
He has a lot of commitment.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Everybody has a talent, but you have to start. You have to find it, and then you have to start working on it, and then eventually somebody will say, "Wow, Muhammad's really talented."
But Mark, he has the best of both worlds because he had two advantages at the same time. Well, not only was he also talented, but he was also working his ass off, as he said. So.
Well, again, though, I really do truly believe, as a teacher, I have seen it too much, that every one of my students has the potential to be great at something. But, you know, what do they say? Let me see. There's another quote I love. Let's see. Judging a fish. There it is. So, everybody is a genius. This is the quote. Everybody is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life thinking it's stupid.
Said by who?
Yes.
It's actually by Albert Einstein.
Oh, I
Yeah.
guess you like Einstein.
I do. Yeah, I've read a bit of his stuff. So, what that means is that sometimes you think that you're not talented, but it's because you're trying to do the wrong talent.
Yeah, true.
You know, so maybe you're
totally
not
agree
good
with
at
you.
this thing and you're not good at this thing, and everybody says, well, you suck, you're terrible. But there's another thing you have never tried that you could be great at. So so you have to go find it. And it's not going to be easy. Of course it's not easy. That's why many people never find it or try, because it's not easy to dig and find your talents and cultivate them.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. I also believe that there is no limit to the number of talents you can have.
True.
So, you know, I love to play music. I think I'm talented at that. I love to teach. I think I'm talented at that. I love to cook. I think I'm talented at that. I love to learn. I think I'm
I like
talented
to
at
eat.
that. You love to eat. There's a
I
talent.
think it's a
Yeah,
talent.
sure. It is. That's a talent. Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of people on the internet who make money, and all they do is go around eating food. You know, I'm
they don't
so
have any
jealous.
talent.
There are two guys from the UK that I love. They have a page called Jolly, Jolly,
Let me search it up.
and all they do is travel around the United States and eat the best food that we have to offer. They find all the best restaurants and the best foods and the traditions and everything that we have, and they just videotape themselves ordering tons of food and trying it all. And their face every time is like, oh my God, it's so good. Oh my God.
So
You know, like,
delicious, so
yeah,
delicious.
like they're so lucky. I'm so jealous of them. I want to do the same thing, but like in other countries. You know, I want to go to Europe and try all the best food that they have and just eat it, you
We
know?
already have here. We already have many of them here. They
Yeah,
call
yeah.
themselves
Have you tried Persian food,
bloggers?
Mark?
Not really. I've tried Middle Eastern food, you know, so like there's a lot of crossover, you know, right? So like baba ganoush and hummus and dolma and falafel and you know, things like that. Those there are many countries in that area that all have those, right? Kebabs, things like that, right? But I have not had specifically like Iranian food yet. Unfortunately, there is no Iranian restaurant in my city. I looked. I tried.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to find one. The closest one would be a few hours away. Yeah, but we have a lot of different kinds of food, but not everyone. My city is not a very big city. If I went to Chicago or New York, you can get everything. You can get anything from any country, anywhere in the world, and it might be the best one you've ever had in your life. Yeah, you know.
I'm a diehard fan of Domino here. You know, there's
Domino's.
Domino's. I always try them when I see them.
Domino's.
Pizza.
Yeah, Domino's pizza. Yeah, but you know, the truth is,
Pizza,
Amir,
yeah.
that's considered terrible in America.
Really?
Yeah, like that's just the cheap pizza that we order just when it's cheap, you know. But if we want good pizza, there are places you can go to get the good stuff. You
Maybe
know?
New York pizza. Maybe New York pizza.
Yeah, New York has a lot of good pizza, but there are different
What about
kinds of
Baba
pizza.
John's?
I'm sorry,
Baba John's.
Baba John's. What is that?
You haven't heard that before?
I don't think so. Baba John's.
Okay.
What is Baba John's?
Yeah.
Oh, Papa John's. Papa John's. Baba John's. Papa
Yeah.
John's. Yeah, Papa John's. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Papa John's, Marco's, Domino's. Those are three of the big ones. We have a bunch of cheap pizza places here in America, right? Domino's is one of the
Yeah.
older ones.
Yeah.
But
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut, that's another
Pizza
big
Hut.
one. Yeah. And the nice thing about those places are, you know, when I went to Taiwan, I could get the same pizza in Taiwan that I have here. You know, I could order a pepperoni pizza and it's the same thing as at home, you know, so that's nice. But yeah, again, if you go to Chicago, they have amazing pizza. If you go to Detroit, we have another kind of pizza, and New York pizza. We have California pizza. We have pizza from a bunch of different places, and it's all different. You know,
How is the weather there? How is the weather?
how's the weather
in
right
Ohio, in Ohio,
in
Chicago,
general
and
or
New York?
right now?
In Ohio, in Chicago, and New York, right now at the same time.
So right now in my city, we had some snow a little while ago. Last week we had some snow, so we have snow on the ground right now.
Wow.
But it's melting right now. But then I think tomorrow we're getting more snow. So it's what's the temperature right now? Let's see.
The weather's been overcast here and just rainy. We don't see any snow, like only rarely, like once or twice a year.
The
in
temperature right
Amsterdam.
now is 2.
Oh, two.
Yeah, 2C. Yeah,
Two?
yeah, just 2.
Minus or positive?
Just positive. But last week it was minus 16.
Oh
Here
my
is
God.
minus.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it gets cold here sometimes, just for a little while. We have 3 months equally of weather here. So we have 3 months of
Do you-
winter, 3 months of spring,
do
3
you
months of
use-
summer, 3 months of fall.
Do you use furnace, Mr. Teacher Mark?
We do. Yeah, that's why I have a T-shirt on because it's warm in here.
Yes.
yeah.
I was wondering how,
Yeah.
how it's so cold and you wear like this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the inside the house is warm. Yeah, and tomorrow we have a fireplace in the house where we'll have a fire in the house too. You know, to help keep it warm when it's really cold. So
That's rude.
yeah,
Do you like this type of weather, like being cold and not sunny? And
I like it because it doesn't last that long. You know, like if it were all year, no, not for me. But for 2 months or a month and a half or so, that's we have 3 months of cold and about a month and a half of cold with snow. You know, but that's not too long. And then so right now is the middle of January. By the middle of March, the end of March, it starts warming up and things start turning beautifully green again. And it's warm by late March, early April. You can walk outside with a T-shirt and it's comfortable. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Yeah, I like it. It's okay. It's beautiful sometimes. On a beautiful snowy day, something that they don't tell you about snow is a really great insulator of sound. So what that means is when it snows a lot, all of a sudden the world is quiet because the snow absorbs all of the sounds from everywhere. So when you wake up on a morning when it snowed all night and you walk outside, it is just dead quiet everywhere, and it's just so beautiful because it's so white everywhere and just quiet and white, and it's peaceful, and it's like, wow. Let me see. I think I might have some pictures I might be able to share. Let me see.
yeah, sure.
I think I do. Yeah, a few. I have a few.
And do
How
you,
is it-
do you have beaches in your city?
Do we have what? Peaches?
Beaches?
That grow here? No. No, not that grow here. No, no, we're not warm enough for that weather. Let's see.
Mark, one thing that I have a fear of usually, and I'm fear. Okay, yeah, wow,
Wow.
There you go.
This
interesting.
outside your house?
Yeah, so here's a drive down the road. You know, you can see all the snow on the trees and everything. You know, and this is outside my house when it was falling in slow motion.
American dream, Mark. American dream.
Yeah, that is the American dream. I know that does look beautiful. I know. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the backyard. That's my backyard there. Yeah, so you know, it's pretty. It's pretty, and it's nice as long as it's not forever. You know.
So breathtaking. Yes.
Yeah, it's nice when it's just short. Yeah. But anyway, I'll tell you what, guys. I'm going to let you guys go because I want to try to talk to some other people and see if we can get this thing back to talking about stuff. You know, anything you guys want to talk about is fine.
Actually,
But, yeah.
I prepared some few questions for you.
Okay, all right.
From ChatGPT.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take them. Okay, okay. That I'm intrigued. What does ChatGPT want to ask me? Let's see.
Yeah,
Let's see how good my
I
answers
told
are.
him a lot about you, and I told him a
Oh,
lot
wow.
about you, and I told him, yeah, I told him that you suffering from easy question and repetitive question, and you want some creative things.
Okay, all
That's
right.
why, yes, he told me some new question I can share with you now.
Okay, let me
You
get
like.
my drink very quickly. Wait.
Okay, okay, take your time.
Enjoy yourself.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, first one. What inspired you to become an English teacher? And what is the most rewarding aspect of teaching this language?
Wow. Okay. All right. So, what inspired me to be an English teacher? Well, I started as a drum teacher. So I started teaching drums when I was 18 years old. I went to a performing arts high school here in the United States that's kind of famous. I mean, it's a very good school for art. And I was studying drums there, and I was very, very serious about it. And I was a really arrogant little 18-year-old. So, you know, I said, do I want to work at McDonald's, which was right there, you know, across the street, or do I want to work at the music store where I can teach drums, you know? And
my God.
and I used to hang out at the music store after school every day. I was there. I was just there. And I would just listen to the conversations that they were having and try to learn whatever I could from these old musicians that work there, right? They had all these guys who've been working there forever. And they knew a lot of stuff that I didn't know. So I loved to just spend time, you know, letting my ears just hear whatever they were saying. When people would come in and ask questions, I would listen to everything. And one day, the drum guy there, he said, you know, man, hey, you know, you're here all the time, and we need a drum teacher. So do you want to just be our drum teacher, you know? And I was like, oh, that sounds good. Let me do that. Yeah. But then I started it, and I was like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not good enough to do this. You know, I panicked the first year I was teaching. I was like, oh man, because, you know, you have so many students who ask you so many questions and you don't have the answer to everything. So you feel like, oh no, I don't know everything. What am I going to do? You know? And I remember I even called my teacher one day. You know, I was panicking, and I called my teacher and I said, I think I made a mistake. I shouldn't have taken this job. I can't be a teacher. I don't know everything. And he told me, Mark, you don't have to know everything. You just have to know more than they do. You know, and he said, you have to just want to help and know more than they do. That's all. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be, you know, everything. And so I was a drum teacher for a long time, and I did music professionally. That was my main job for a long time. But then when I was about 32, I got really, really burnt out being a musician because I was doing the same thing all the time. You know,
You gave up on it?
I didn't give up on it, but I was, you know, every night was the same bars over and over again, the same music over and over again. It just felt like I wasn't going anywhere, and it felt like I don't want to keep doing this. This just felt it didn't feel fun anymore. It didn't feel interesting anymore. It wasn't exciting anymore. And I had a friend of mine who was a musician also. He recorded some music in, I used to have a home studio for recording, and he came to my studio and recorded some music. And he was living in Taiwan, teaching English. And I talked to him and I told him, man, I'm really burnt out. And he said, hey, man, why don't you come over here and you can sleep on my couch and I'll get you a job at the kindergarten and try that. Try something completely different just to maybe that'll help. You'll be in a new place, new culture, new experiences. Maybe that'll make you feel better again, And I went there and I did it. I quit everything here. I dropped everything. I packed up 2 suitcases and I moved to Asia.
Indonesia?
I was in Taiwan.
Oh, in Taiwan.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I said move to Asia. Yeah. So I was living outside of Taipei for about 6 months and I was teaching kindergarten and it was cool. It was interesting. It was still teaching. It still felt like teaching. I love teaching. I love helping people find the answers and find a better way to do something and find a better way to understand something. So it was still teaching, just something different than English now. And I had never thought about teaching English before, ever. Never, ever, ever did I think about teaching English before. But I've always been somebody who likes to learn. I've always been somebody who studies. I didn't realize that until later, I think. But I do read a lot and I do study, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, again, giving myself too much credit. But yeah, but anyway, the point is that I went there and I did it, and I actually had to come home for a little while because of some family stuff, but that was my first shot at teaching English. Was in 2009. I was in Taiwan for 6 months teaching English, and I decided I like it. When I came back to America, I decided to get my certificate, and I knew I would move back at some point, and I did in 2016.
I have a question. Speaking of books, and since you are a book avid, and one thing that crosses my mind is because I have been getting into the habit of reading books, and since you are a book lover, I was wondering what kind of books you usually recommend, like people who are in their 20s to read, because it differs. Like
that's exactly what I tell everybody. Is it differs? I think you should read whatever you're interested in. Reading is personal. Just because I like a book doesn't mean you're gonna like it.
But in terms of increasing my knowledge, I wanna know more and more. Not just memorizing books, or not just learning something about that.
So what do you want to know more about? Pick a subject first.
Anything. To be honest, I wanna accept technology, because now I don't like technology anymore.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's easy to understand at this point. What I would say is I'm a big fan of culture. I like to learn about culture, and history. Right? History is basically just current events in the past. So I like to learn about history and culture because it helps me understand people better, So when you understand their history, when you understand their music and their food and even their religion or their politics, you don't have to know everything, but it helps to know something, So for books, though,
for American book, for American culture, do you know any?
Let me think. Wow. I do remember just recently somebody did mention a book to me that I haven't checked out yet, but I can't remember the name of it now. But yeah, I'll have to find it. I'll have to look it and see if I can find it. But there was some book that was basically about a foreigner's guide to American culture. It was kind of like if you don't know anything about America, here's a book. It'll tell you a little bit about what we are and who we, what we think and that kind of stuff. And that's a really hard subject to try to do, I think. Yeah. But really, Amir, I really do think it would be almost of no value for me to just give you a random topic or a random book. One of the best feelings in the world is when you walk into a library and you start walking around to find where is that one book that's the one that's going to make me go, wow, You know, like, where's this information that I need? And you look around for it to find it, you know, like it's valuable, right? And that feeling, that's what you need to try to find. You need to try to find that feeling. I used to get that feeling anytime I went into a bookstore or a library. You know, I felt like, wow, there's knowledge here. You know, like, think about it. You're from, Muhammad, you're from Egypt. Alexandria had one of the greatest libraries in the history of mankind, and people would go there from all over the world. Why? Because there was power there. We say knowledge is power. So you can walk around and say, oh, look, there's a scroll that has some kind of knowledge in it that could make me powerful, right? So and it should, but, you know, not every scroll is going to be interesting to you. You know, like, this one's boring. That's not for me. You know, maybe you're not interested in politics. Okay, so don't read the politics scrolls. Maybe you're interested in cooking. Read those scrolls, you know. There's a guy on Facebook I love to follow who does recipes from history. Like, he tries to find
recipes.
Like cooking, but he cooks ancient food. Like, he'll find recipes from 3,000 years ago and then cook it and eat it and tell you what it tastes like now, you know? And sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's terrible. You know, it's horrible, you know? But you know, things like that. So what I would tell you, Amir, is I don't want to give you, it would be a false journey if I give you the destination that you're supposed to find.
Thanks for that.
I want you to go find it based on what you feel like you want to find. You know, let your heart and your mind guide you.
You know what I started now? 92 ways to talk to different people and get the hang of what they are saying.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact name, but it was like how to attract people.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. There's a bunch of books like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was written by someone. It was the most famous one, and I bought it and I just started reading.
Is it Andrew Carnegie?
Let me just find it. I guess I've downloaded it on my desktop.
Yeah, there's a famous book by Carnegie.
I love it. I just love it.
Carnegie book. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's the most famous book like that you're talking about. Andrew Carnegie wrote this book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he wrote that book in what year? Let's see. What year was that?
92 Rules to Talk to Anyone.
Oh, that's interesting. He wrote this book in like 1898. A long time ago. Yeah.
Wow.
But those rules that he wrote are still popular because the way he said them is still pretty good, pretty valuable. Oh, I just thought of, Amir, I just thought of another author that you could read that would be interesting for you. Ben Franklin.
Let me write it down.
Benjamin Franklin is a famous American. From
Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, and he wrote a few books that were really interesting. He had a bunch of what we call aphorisms. So he had a book called...
Thanks for that.
Ben Franklin books. He had a book called... What's the one I'm looking for? Oh, Poor Richard's Almanac. Poor Richard's Almanac. And he also had one called The Way to Wealth. He had another one called... let's see. He even wrote a book called The Morals of Chess. You know, it's interesting. It's about chess and the morals of chess. But he was a really interesting guy with a really interesting viewpoint. I think that he's great. He's one of my favorites, and also Mark Twain. And Mark Twain, his books are great, but honestly, my favorite stuff from Mark Twain is just his quotes. Just go read the things he says about life. He has some of the funniest... Like, for example, here's what he says about politicians. This is one of my favorite quotes from him. He said, politicians are like diapers.
Diapers.
Yeah.
What do you mean by diapers?
A diaper is what babies wear, like the pants babies wear, you know, because they need to pee and poop in their pants, right? So he said, politicians are like diapers. They need to be changed often and for the same reason. And what that means is, why do you change a diaper? Because it's full of... Why do you
Yeah.
change a politician? Because they're full of.
What do you feel about Trump, Mark?
What do I
How
think
do you feel
about?
Yeah, Trump.
Oh, that's politics. We can't go into that.
Oh, okay, sure.
not-
Yeah, we can't go into that. But I will just say I'm not a fan. Okay, yeah, I'm not a fan. He doesn't read. Period. He doesn't read. The man doesn't read. I'm a teacher. If you watch my streams, you'll know exactly how I feel. Okay, because yeah, he pretty much does everything the opposite of the way I do, and that's fine. He's much more successful than I am. You know, I can't argue, but I can argue about what I feel is good and bad and moral. And one thing he doesn't have that I do have is a clean soul.
Clean soul.
A clean soul, yeah. That's one thing I'm pretty sure he doesn't have. So anyway, but
All
yeah.
All politician doesn't have something like this.
But he's a particular breed because he's not a politician at all. He's a businessman.
Yeah,
You know?
he's a businessman.
Yeah, and you know the thing is, business is not a moral activity. It's just not. You know, you're trying to make money off of people, and how much money is too much? Some people believe there's too much. Like, that's too much. You can't do that. That's not fair. And some people believe, no, if you can make it, do it. You know? And so that's business, right? And I think he's the kind that is like, if you can make that money, do it. I don't care how you do it. Just make that money. I feel like I don't want to do it unless it's moral to do. You know?
That how you do
yeah.
it sentence really matters. How you do it, like
It
really
does,
matters.
yeah. But you know, that's the thing. I'm poor because everything I enjoy in life is not about. It's not a pursuit of money. Nobody becomes a musician to make money. Nobody becomes a teacher to make money. Nobody becomes a cook to make money. you do those things because you love them. You love food and cooking for people. You love teaching and helping people learn. You love music and helping people, you know, listen and experience that, you know, feeling, that art, you know. So, yeah, I'm not a businessman. So I can't understand them. It's hard for me to understand them.
Mark, back in the day, I used to be an English teacher back
Oh, yeah?
in my country.
I can see that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. But now, I also want to pursue it in terms of like receive a certificate called CELTA. I guess you're familiar with CELTA, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And do you think that, because you have talked to me for a while, and do you think that I have that person? Because some people need to have that personality to become a teacher. Do you think?
Oh, you definitely
I
do.
have-
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, you do. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
You just have to be
some-
positive, and you have to be passionate, and you have to be patient. The 3 P's of teaching. Positive, patient, and passionate. If you don't have passion, you shouldn't teach. If you don't have patience, you shouldn't teach. If you can't be positive, you shouldn't teach. Every one of my students, I do tell them what they should improve, but I always do it in a way that doesn't break them down. It builds them up. That's the difference between advice from some guy and advice from a good teacher. A teacher should build you up. They should never break you down. That's why that movie, Whiplash, that drum movie that everybody, I'm a drummer. Everybody asks me about this movie. Every drummer that's a real drummer, we all hate that movie because it's totally false. That whole thing is false. That kind of teacher would be fired in the first year. Nobody, you can't be like that. You have to be positive. Parents would be going home and saying, "No, this guy, yelled at my kid and argued with my kid and threw something at my kid." He'd be fired like that. So it's just a total fantasy, and even more, the fantasy. It's insulting and it makes you think that the only way to get the best out of your students is to be cruel and brutal. That's just not true. The way to get the best out of your students is to build their trust and build their self-confidence and build their knowledge. That's it.
But like I guess native people, I guess it's their thing to do it. I mean, they are born with that talent and they can like teach better. And I was always because I've talked to some natives and they didn't tell me I can start teaching. And I've seen from so many people as
Teaching.
they're looking for usually. Sorry.
No. Listen, teaching is something that you honestly really can't learn in a classroom. I mean, by going to school. You can only learn it by getting in a classroom to teach, right? So if you want to be a teacher, go do it. You'll figure it out very quickly if it's something you should do or shouldn't do. In the first year, you'll know, oh, I really like this. I think I can do this. Or the next, you'll be like, no, this is not for me. I don't think I'm the right personality for it. You'll know in the first year, but you should just go do it. You'll figure it out. Again, I'm glad that I just started doing it when I was 18. I'm glad I was that arrogant. That I just said like, oh, I can do this. Yeah, I can teach. No problem.
You're the best.
Oh, no. Again, like, stay humble. That's the thing. You got to stay humble, especially with social media these days. That's the downfall of everybody is thinking you're so great.
Don't sell yourself short.
Don't sell yourself short, but don't sell yourself long either. So there's you can do both. You can go too far.
Yeah, you can balance between them.
You do. You have to balance things, right? But that's also why I like the way that I teach. I always remind you that hey, if you like my advice, that's great. I'm glad you like my advice, but I'm just a drummer. So what I'm trying to tell you is just like, look, I'm not saying I'm the number one. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm not saying only I know the answers. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm saying this is what I believe. This is what I think. If you like it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. It's fine too. I'm not going to argue with you about it. If you think something different, that's okay. Sometimes there are a few people who come on my stream and they want to argue with me about, methods or topics, and I won't do it because I'm not here to argue whether it's right or wrong. It's what I believe. You can believe whatever you want,
Yes. I think that you are a good storyteller.
You have to be a teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, you have to.
Even in life, Mark, when you start a conversation, people ask you, what have you done in your life? You need to just say it from scratch till the end in a very perfect way. So that people can understand you. And you can start a really better conversation when people understand you better. And you can build up better connections when people understand you better. Do you agree?
You can. I don't know. I really don't know how I totally learned how to do this, like talking to people and helping. I don't really know. Honestly, again, I think it's just something that kind of gradually happened over time by doing it, So I don't think I was this good at it in the first year. I think my students have always liked me. I think my students have always enjoyed learning from me, but I don't think I was a brilliant teacher in the first year. I think it took time to learn a bunch of important lessons about teaching and about learning, So, yeah, even to be honest with you, my teaching has changed a lot, even in just the few years I've been streaming. In the few years I've been streaming, now I've answered all these different questions. Now I've come up with all these different methodologies, theories, concepts, and ideas. And, I do have an answer for almost everything. That's why I'm trying to write a book about it, And yeah, all of that came to fruition just in the last few years. I didn't have any of those ideas 5 years ago. I didn't have any of those ideas when I was teaching in Taiwan. I had to start doing it and learn, and then make some mistakes and learn from them and figure out a better way.
Trial and error.
Yeah, trial and error. Yeah, that's life. Trial and error.
Yeah.
You know what they say is the master has failed more times than you've ever tried. Oh, we lost Muhammad. Probably the time limit. Yeah.
If you don't try, you don't learn anything. You don't experience anything.
That's right. Yeah, there's another phrase that we say. Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky is a famous hockey player from Canada, and he said, "You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take." So if you don't take it, you missed. You know, if you don't try, you missed. So you may as well try. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway.
I don't want. Yes. And I remember there was one thing that Tom Hanks and the other people who he was talking to said, but I don't remember. He said, when you're at the top, stay calm. When you're also at your low level, also stay calm. I remember there was a really famous sentence, and I like that, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
I used to have it. Do you remember it?
I don't. No. That sounds interesting, though. I mean, I think.
Maybe I think I know about it.
What I think I have a similar thing I try to say, which is that you can't know how beautiful the top of the mountain is if you don't know how bad the bottom of the valley is. So that means that life is about experiencing both good and bad and learning from both. You can't just have a life full of good experiences. That will not make a good human being. You have to make some failures. You have to have some bad times. That's what
These two shall
forms you.
pass. These two shall pass.
That's from the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, this
yes.
too shall pass. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Anyway, Ivan. Hello, Ivan. Ivan. Is it Ivan or Ivan?
Ivan.
Ivan. Hello, my friend. How are you? Hola. Mucho gusto.
Oh, nice to meet you too.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're in Spain. Where are you? In Madrid, Barcelona? Where?
Seville.
Seville. Okay. I was just in Madrid just a couple of months ago.
Really?
Yeah. I have a friend in Madrid on Hello Talk, and I have another friend in Berlin, and I went to go visit them. So I was in Madrid for about 2 weeks. I was in Madrid. It was great. I love it there. The food. Oh my God, the food. I got so fat. I ate so much food when I was in Europe. I got so fat, but I don't care. I didn't care because it's like my vacation. And, you know, there's nothing sadder than a person on vacation and on a diet. You know, if you're on a diet, that is not the time to go on vacation, you know?
That's not called a vacation anymore.
That's right. It's not a vacation if you're on a diet. It's absolutely not. For me, food is it's one of the most important parts of traveling. And, yeah, if you take that away from me, I don't even want to go. I don't even want to go. So, but I love the food there, man. I had so much kind of delicious ham and delicious cheese and delicious bread. Geez, just those three things alone is enough reason to move to Madrid. You know, it's just those three. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
No, go ahead, Amir.
Did you go to Berlin only, or did you also go to Cologne or?
I went to Berlin mostly, but when I was there, I also took a trip to Dresden for a day, and I took one trip to a city called Poznan, Poland for one day too. So I was in Berlin for most of the time, and I met a few followers from that area. There was one guy from Hamburg who came down to Berlin to meet me, and yeah, but mostly when I travel, one thing about traveling that I don't like is I don't like when you are in a rush. Like, okay, 8 a.m. we have to go to the Eiffel Tower, and after the Eiffel Tower, then we have to go here, then we have to go here, and then 15 minutes here, and then we have to wait in line for 4 hours here to see this thing. I hate that. No, man.
Yeah.
I want to go and wake up and go find a cafe that has some good, coffee and breakfast and chill out and enjoy the people and the feeling and then walk around and, see the neighborhood and get a feel for the vibe and talk to some people. I'm a different kind of traveler. I'm about the slice of life, we call it, slice of life traveling. I'm not about like checklist of scenic things. I love, okay, I love history, and so I love that stuff, but I don't want to wait in line 4 hours to see the Colosseum of Rome. I want to go have coffee across the street. You know, like, I'll go touch the building. I'll just walk up to it and touch it, look at it, take some pictures, go have some coffee, chill out, and just enjoy the view of the Colosseum as I have some coffee. That's all I
Nothing
need.
better than that.
Yeah, I can read about the history myself. I don't need to go on the tour and pay all that money and waste all that time. No offense to them. You know, it's great, but you know, I went to the Prado Museum when I was in Madrid, and I did it twice because the first time I was there, it was on a Saturday. It was too busy. And there were all these tour groups that are walking through, and it was obnoxious. It was annoying. These tour groups that they act like they run the place, like they don't care about anybody else who's there. You know, they're just doing their thing. And again, like I said, I came back on a weekday when it wasn't so busy, and then I walked around for like 5 hours by myself, just taking my time and enjoying the artwork and not in a rush and I didn't have any plans, you know. That's the way I like to travel. I like to go someplace that I can stay long enough that I can not have plans. And I like to know people who are there so I can just say, you know, hey, what do you want to do? Take me to your favorite restaurant, you know? Let's go to your favorite bar. Do you have a favorite club? Is there a band I should see? That's what I want to do, you know? I don't want to see the same crap that everybody else has seen. You know, like, that's not what I want. You know, that's not what you can watch TV and see all that. You know, everything's on TV now. I don't even need to go on the tour of the Colosseum. I've seen it on the History Channel a bunch of times. You know, so you know, yeah. But the food, you can't get that on the History Channel. You know, yeah.
You like food more than yes.
Go ahead, Amir. Go ahead.
No, Ivan wants to say something. I've talked about.
Okay, Ivan, go ahead.
Okay, I was saying that I totally agree with you. About the whole, when I don't know about the other countries. I went to other countries, but in Spain, when you come here, the most important is food.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh yeah.
Because food tell you about the culture, but about the person, about the people that you are around.
Absolutely.
No?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so important.
Yeah.
Because
And
the way they eat something is how they are.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, I mean, it was really culturally awesome for me because, like, for example, Ivan, the first time I got on a plane from Berlin to go to Madrid, and it was Iberian Airlines, right? And it was the loudest plane I've ever been on in my life. Because Spanish people are definitely loud, boisterous people. You know, they talk. You know, they're talkers. They like to talk to people. So there were people in the aisles, like walking up and down, talking to people. I've never been on a plane like that where people were talking to each other. You know, everybody's usually quiet, and you just get to your destination and you leave. This felt like I was on like a tour, like where everybody knew each other. They're all talking to each other and everything. You know, and then when I was in Spain. Yeah, the food, you know, like I remember we went to a cafe that was our favorite little cafe, and one day we showed up at 8 o'clock, and it was supposed to be open at 8, and it wasn't, and we were like, oh, that's disappointing because we really liked that cafe. They were just late. They were just a little bit late. They showed up around 8:30, and, you know, so we went to the park and came back, and they were open. And that kind of thing, to be honest, doesn't happen in the U.S., you know, when you say your business opens at 8, it better be open. You know, if you don't, then somebody's going to write a review and you're going to be in trouble, you know. But in Spain, people are more like, you know, 8:30, we were open. You know, it's close enough, you know, like they're more laid back, they're more relaxed about it. Oh, and that was one of my favorite parts too, was when I was in, I spent 1 week in downtown Madrid and 1 week in the suburbs. What is the name of it? Majorahonda in outside Spain and outside Madrid, sorry. And I got to walk around in the suburbs and this little outside mall area, and I finally got that sense of like the old people who were just walking around with nothing to do, and they're just having some coffee and having a cigarette in the park, just walking around. Again, we don't really have that here. Everybody here has someplace to go and something to do. Nobody's just chilling out in the park for fun. You know, we don't have old people. We have old people in buildings who are watching TV all day. They're not walking around having a coffee and a cigarette. But that's what I saw there. It was all these old guys hanging out and all the ladies hanging out and, you know, just relaxing. This is a whole different vibe. The siesta vibe. You know, like, you know, it's chilling out, relaxing. Hey, it's okay, man. You know. And then food, yeah. I drank more than I'm not a big drinker, you know. I was when I was younger, you know. I drank when I was in my 20s, you know, early 30s when I would work and play in bars. I would drink some, but I'm not really anymore. But when I was on vacation there, man, everywhere you go, somebody's giving you a beer or a wine, you know. It's like at 10 in the morning, they're like, here's some wine, you know, like, I'm like, okay. Yeah, you know, it was funny, you know. And it was really a great experience because I was with Gunther from Berlin. Gunther is German, but he's 75 years old, and he was in the East German army. And at the time, he was a translator for all the Cuban workers that worked in the factory. So he speaks great Spanish. So he came with me to Madrid, and that made my trip to Madrid so much easier because my Spanish is just a little, un poco. So you know, he could talk to everybody, and it was so much easier. You know, yeah, it was great. It was awesome. And
Which city did you go to in Spain?
I went to Madrid, just Madrid.
Oh.
Yeah, only Madrid. It would have been nice to travel around more to some. You know, we were talking about going to Seville, but it just didn't happen. And that's okay.
Do it next time.
Yeah,
Do it
sure.
next time.
Yeah, next time. Yeah.
You know why? You're gonna discover a new world.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet. You know, the one place I wasn't really that excited to see, some people invited me to Barcelona, and I was like, no.
Why not?
There's a reason why they have a problem with tourists now. It's just too touristy, and I get that. I understand that. If your neighborhood becomes Disney World, you're not going to be happy either. You know?
Yeah.
And that's how they feel, is they feel like, hey, this is my house, this is my land, this is my country, and all these people come in getting really, really drunk and rowdy, and then leaving, you know, all the trouble and problems behind. That's not cool. That's just not cool. And so I'm totally okay with them kind of shutting things down for a little bit to wake people up. You know, I mean, I've heard the stories about mostly you know, people from the UK coming there and just being really, really like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Do you have no shame? You know, what are you doing? Yeah. How old are you? What are you doing? Why do you have no shame? How can you still act like that as an adult? You know? And I like to party. I'm a musician. I partied a lot when I was younger, guys, you know, but I tried to do it in such a way that I'm not creating problems, you know. You don't have to. Yeah.
I don't.
So anyway, but the food was so amazing. I love the food. I mean, I had probably 5-6 different kinds of, you know, Iberico ham that were all amazing. You know, so delicious. Yeah. And sometimes at night, you know, I would just walk down to their apartment and hang out at their apartment. We'd have tapas and wine and bread and ham and just chat all night, you know. And that was great. I'd rather do that than, you know, go see some, you know, scenic thing, you know. So, and she owns one of the great restaurants in Madrid too. So if you're ever in Madrid, go to a restaurant called Casa Marius.
Can you spell it?
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Casa, C-A-S-A, Casa as in house, and Marius, M-A-R-I-U-S. That's her husband is Marius, and they have a great restaurant in the middle of Madrid that's very popular. I mean, we had a hard time getting a table, and they own the restaurant. You know, so it was funny. And great food, really, really great food. So go in there, you ask for the owner or his wife. They both know me, and you can say, you know, hey, I know Mark from Hello Talk, and they'll be like, oh, come in, have a glass of wine. Okay, yeah, yeah, they both know me well. So
I guess you've become famous in the whole Europe.
no, I don't know about that. You know, talking about that kind of stuff makes me a little uncomfortable because I don't want to be one of those people who loses their head. You know, I don't want to be one of those online guys who gets to, you know, like, I'm so cool. You know, it's awesome to have a lot of followers, but it's also a sense of dangerous pressure that you can lose yourself quickly. You can
Don't you
start
like to be? Yes.
yeah, you can start thinking that you're a little too cool, you know. And I've had to deal with. I've had to try to work on that. There are times when I've myself thought I'm so great, but you know, I have to check it, you know, and say, like, you know, hey man, you know, keep it real, you know, be humble, you know. Nothing is done well without humility. That's my opinion.
True.
Yeah. Anything done without humility is probably not done as well as it could be with humility. So, anyway.
You
And
can
the
be
more
humble, but at the same time, you can be proud of yourself.
Yeah,
You have to
of
be
course.
real with you
Yeah,
and say,
of course.
I'm
Yeah.
nice, I'm good, I'm the best with
That's
this,
exactly
but
right.
at the
Yeah.
same time,
Yeah, it's really a funny thing because, like, being a musician is like that, where you, on the one hand, you have one part of you that has to believe that you're the best, that has to believe that you can do it, that you're great at what you do. But then there's another part of you that has to stay humble, because if you don't, then you stop learning, you stop growing, and you start believing that everything you do is great. And if you do that, then you'll not be great. You can't be great if you believe everything you do is great. You can't. The greatness comes from being able to see how it can be better. But if you think that everything's wonderful, then you have nowhere to go, right? So you should never think that you're awesome. You should always think
guess
that you're
what-
good. Yeah.
Is what you're trying to say is not to be big-headed,
Yeah.
but to try to be like, yeah.
Yeah, you have to balance it. Yeah, because you're right. When I go on stage to play drums, you have to play it like you own it. You have to play it like, yeah, I kick ass, you know? But when you come off stage, you have to, you know, be like, all right, you know, it's just another job. It's just another day. And I'm glad people had fun. You know, I'm glad people liked it. But don't start thinking you're so awesome, because that's the downfall of many, many people, especially musicians.
in Spain, we say, put your feet on the earth.
That's right. Yeah. We say you need to keep your head in the ground and your head in the clouds and your heart on the ground. Yeah. So, okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about or ask me about?
I wanted to ask you about one of those detailed questions in terms
Okay.
of grammar, but you told me I shouldn't ask you, so I'm not gonna.
In terms of grammar? Yeah, save that one for another stream. Save that one for another day. On one of my, come to my English question and answer session and bring that one. Yeah, because the other thing is, it's really important when you do these streams. It is important to try to choose a topic and try to stay on it, because if everything is random, then when people watch, they don't know what they're getting. So you have to try to keep people a little bit on topic. So in this case, for this one, as long as we're having a conversation that's kind of deep, I'm okay. If we are talking about language and it's a deep conversation about language, that's okay. But if you've got questions that are more specific English questions, I'll answer them, just not right now.
Just one more thing. As long as I'm in Amsterdam, if you come here, let me know. And I feel like the best time to come here is during the summer because it's not as rainy as it used to be.
Yeah, I almost went there for a layover when I was flying to Madrid. I almost went through Amsterdam.
Is it cool? It's for Central Station.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I never did. I didn't take I got a direct flight. I ended up choosing a direct flight instead. But you know, I wanted to go to many, many places when I was in Europe. There are lots of people who want to see me. Lots of people who wanted me to stop through. And if I were a rich man, if I were a rich man, da da dun dun da 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 dun. That's a famous song from the Fiddler on the Roof. If I were a rich man, and it's all about having money. You know, if I had money, I'd go visit everybody. You know,
You are rich in history and rich in life and rich
sure,
in knowledge. That's what
yeah,
matters.
yeah. Well, we'll see.
Sometimes that matters a lot.
Yeah, right. You know, it depends on where you are as to whether those things matter or not. You know, if I'm talking to the Dalai Lama, I'm okay. But if I'm trying to get a loan at the bank, I'm in trouble. You know? So anyway, yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. We don't have too many people here. I guess it's a really early time for most people to watch. So I guess maybe it's not a popular
now
time.
12:30 a.m. here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's 6:30 here right now.
Sorry. Here is 12:30. 30 past
Oh,
12.
yeah, the same.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. You guys are same time
Yeah.
zone. Yeah, Amsterdam and Spain is mostly the same time zone.
And
Yeah.
Germany.
And Germany too, right? Hmm.
Italy. Also.
Yep, yeah. So, you know what I'm going to do for a minute? Amir, you had asked me about this before. I'm going to go play a song. How about that?
Yes, that's great. That's
Yeah, I'm going to go play a song real quick. I have it set up. It'll just take me a minute to just move the camera around real quickly and get back there. But sure, I'll play a song. Give me
That
just
would be perfect.
give me just a second here to get ready. All right, let's see.
You know, Ivan, I had a Spanish teacher for my math, and I was about to get 9 out of 10 because it's usually out of 10. However, he was a bit, I guess, he was a bit like kind of. I feel like he's really Spanish people are really good at math. I don't know, but he was really good at it, and he was doing a PhD in math, and I got 6 out of 10. I really I've got everything settled down. I was pretty much sure that I'm gonna get it, but I don't know why I got 6 out of 10. But in my midterm, I got 8 out of 10. I mean, yeah,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, but it was really hard getting that score from him. I mean, yeah, I guess he was a perfectionist.
What?
He was a perfectionist. He really cared about every small detail, and he told us to just explain everything, especially in terms of math in detail. So, and I also had a Spanish friend. I remember 2 years ago. I, I was also talking with him. He usually you people are so friendly and similar to you. I'm Persian, and also I feel like we are on the same path. Like we are on the same page in terms of culture, like in terms of food, or and I like that type of thing. And, yeah.
Yeah. Spanish people are so friendly, and we love to be with each other all the time. We don't mind. And if you come to our country, to our place, and you talk to us, okay, come, you're welcome
But
all the
I really
time. We
wanna,
do.
I really wanna visit your country one day. To be honest.
Yeah. And also, in South Spain, where I live in my region and all the south, is the most. People are so sweet. They you come and okay, I don't know you, but okay, come here, eat with us and enjoy.
Wow,
No
really?
problem.
Check. Yeah,
Yeah,
We are
I
like
agree with that completely. Yeah, like people in Spain are really friendly. Yeah, very inviting.
yeah, they really are. And
but South Spain is next level. Like if you come, you are our friend. Don't worry. Don't be
yeah,
shy.
the other Spanish friend I had, that was he was my friend like 2 years ago. Now we are not talking to each other, but what I wish we could, because I changed my like kind of house, and we have a bit of problem here. There's a home crisis. I don't know how familiar you are to that, but yeah, we had to change it both. And I know that Spanish people are usually into like traveling a lot, if I'm not mistaken. And he was always traveling across different kind of cities, and that's what he told me. And I was also on the same path, but I couldn't. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just about ready here.
Yes. Perfect. Looking
We are
forward.
ready.
So I'll tell you what, guys. Do me a favor and mute yourselves for just a few minutes while
sure.
I play this song, and then I'll be right back with you in just a second. So I'm going to play a song from Bruce Hornsby. It's called "Look Out Any Window."
The sound is a bit like too low. I feel like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't hear it very
You
well.
can't hear it, really?
I hear it, but it's not as loud as it should be. I feel like.
Huh. Ah, that's crazy because it's turned up really high. You know what? It might be. I have a feeling it might be something. It might be because you guys are on stage. Let's try something. Yeah, I want to try to see if I can pull you guys off stage and let me see if it changes the sound or not. Because thank you for telling me that, because I wouldn't have known. It sounds very loud
Yeah.
up here.
I'm gonna be off stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then do me a favor and tell me. I'm going to play the song again. Just tell me in the chat if you can hear it well or not.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. I will.
It's the same. Oh no, this might be a problem. I think this could be a technical problem for Hello Talk, maybe, because it usually works fine when I play music here. I don't know why it's not. Let me try one more thing. I don't know what else I could try. Settings. Microphone. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's weird because you can hear my voice okay, right? My voice is loud, right? Yeah, that's really weird because everything should be coming through the same thing. Maybe I can't play music today because of this problem. Man, because it's really loud in my headphones. I don't know what else to try. Let me think. What else can I do? I'm going to try to see if I can leave and come right back without ending my stream. Okay, let me see if I can restart the web site, and maybe that'll help. Let's find out. What happens if I do this? Check 1, 1, 2. All right, I don't know if this is going to make a difference. Let's find out. Let me try starting my music program again. Okay, how about now? louder now? Hold on. Better? Better? Okay. All right. Well, I'll try one more time. Hopefully it'll work. Let's try. Let's see what happens. Maybe it won't work and I'll have to talk to Hello Talk to figure out what the problem is now. Because I used to be able to do this all the time. right. I don't know if it worked or not. I'll come over there so I can talk to you. Just give me 1 second.
The drums sound good, but you can barely hear my voice when I'm singing. That's a good thing, Yvonne, because I'm not a great singer. That's a good thing. So anyway, well, anyway, I hope the sound was okay. I'm not sure what it sounds like for you guys. Did it sound okay for some people or no? Because it helps me. Tell me if there was a problem, because I'll talk to HelloTalk about it. Right? If there's a problem, I need to talk to HelloTalk. The sound of the drums was okay. So you could hear the drums, Amir, but the music was not that loud for you? Huh, that's weird. How about the rest of you? Could you guys hear the music? Ada said no music. Okay, yeah, there's a problem. Some kind of a problem. I don't know why. I'll have to talk to HelloTalk and find out. Well, that's a shame. It's a great song. I don't know why you guys can't hear it. How about now? Wait a minute. Let me play it now while I'm just sitting here. Wait a minute. You can't hear that music? Huh, that's really weird. Oh no, that depresses me. Now I'm sad. All right, well, I guess there's a problem with HelloTalk. I need to talk to them and find out why. But that's okay, because I need to take a break now anyway. Well, it's a shame, though, because I wanted to play some music for you guys. But I can't play music if it's not working. So, oh well. No, that's okay. I'll figure it out. It's always annoying when, everything's working fine for a few months and then they do an update and then all things are not working good anymore, right? And not working well. So clearly, 3 months ago there was no problem, but now there is. So I got to talk to them and find out why. Yep. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to go have some dinner, but thank you guys for watching. Come back and see me again sometime, okay? Thanks, Amir. Thanks, Mohammed. Thank you, Yvonne. All right. Yeah, take care, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Next time, hopefully, I'll actually be able to play a song. Nobody wants to hear drums by itself. Not even me. Okay, guys. Bye-bye.